Well, I think we have an audience, right? On Facebook. Good afternoon. What is it, Thursday, the
Yes,
19th of November?
that is.
I'm Obie Shelton. I'm one of the elders at the New Community. And thank you, community, for joining us here. Beside me is my wife, Barbara.
Good afternoon, everybody. And it's hard to believe that the year is almost over.
Mm.
But I guess as we look at 2020, we'll probably look back and say that was a year that we won't recommend.
Well, we
No.
won't forget it. I mean, it's just when you thought it was going to pull out, now we got some more twists and turns down the way. But we're celebrating because New Community has established November as Make Cleveland Better Month, and even though the year has been really strange for a lot of people, one thing that has remained consistent, besides the goodness of God, is New Community's commitment to giving. And like everybody in New Community has been faithful throughout the whole year, and as a result of that, we've been able to do some really effective things throughout the community, and we're going to be celebrating that today because a lot of people, when you give, especially this year, get to see where that goes. And so we're going to be able to share with you today about where some of it goes.
I was having a conversation with one of the women in my life group yesterday, and she was lamenting the fact that because we're in this advisory lockdown situation where we're just staying at home to be safe, we lost the opportunities to be out and about and volunteering and putting our hands to the plow to do volunteer service. And so she was feeling so helpless because she sees that there are so many people in our communities who are really struggling with basic necessities of shelter and
Mhm.
food. And yet there seems like there's so little that we can actually do. And so I reminded her that it is through our giving to New Community that we are able to really directly impact the lives of the people in our community. And so that gave her some consolation that she wasn't just sitting home being useless and helpless, but in fact, her gift to the church was really a gift to make
Mhm.
Cleveland better.
Those who have attended when we've had our celebration at the church, you may be familiar with Jan Ridgeway, and she is the CEO, director, the engine. I mean, she does it all at Garden Valley Neighborhood House, and she's our guest today. And so I'm assuming everybody can see Jan. Why don't you say hi to the folks there, Jan?
Hi, new community, and the rest of the audience out there.
Yes, and in our audience, we say hi to Rose and Denise, and hi, Teresa.
Hey.
Good to see you, Valerie, Elder Charles, Andrea, Elder Mark. Glad to see everybody with us this afternoon.
Wow. So, I know Garden Valley. I'm familiar with it because I grew up in the Union Kinsman neighborhood. And so I
Okay.
always go
Okay.
down Kinsman when we would go downtown or if we were going on the highway. And so I would always see that iconic mural. And if you've grown up on the southeast side, there's like this side of the building that has like Muhammad Ali, Aretha Franklin, a guitar player for Earth, Wind and Fire. And it's like this mural that's been there ever since the 70s. And that's Garden Valley Neighborhood House. But what do you do? It's changed over the years, right? But what do you do there now? What's your mission?
Actually, we're finding that a lot of the services and programs that we provide are replicating what was done when it was started over 100 years ago. Though there have definitely been gaps and endings of many of the programs, they've restarted in other ways. But the organization was founded by the Presbytery of Western Reserve, the Women's Auxiliary, and it celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2018. And so when we took over, it had been closed for a little while. And I guess my favorite expression now is that we didn't choose the center chose us, in terms of the work that we're doing. And we have we decided that our primary mission would be hunger relief. But we realized within a couple of weeks of reopening the center that's a very broad mission, because it wasn't just about food. If we wanted to make any impactful difference difference in that community, which has the highest poverty indicators in the city of Cleveland, what we had to do was to create some kind of support mechanisms that would help the community change this dynamic of extreme poverty. So we began to do programs for seniors. We began to do programs for children, for caregivers. We started doing workforce training. We had GED training, tutorials. We decided that we would deal with hunger holistically, that we had to deal with the issue beyond just handing out food. And what we wanted to do was not give a handout, but to give a handout instead. And so that has sort of driven our work over the last 10 years. We reopened the center in 2010. So we have been open now for 10 years, 11 years in January.
So I can certainly understand that the needs are broad and deep, but I also imagine that the last 10 months of this pandemic have probably changed the.
Without a doubt.
And how have what are those changes?
Okay, so one of the things we had to do, which was very discouraging to begin with, we had to put all of our congregant programs on hiatus because we couldn't bring people into the building because we couldn't guarantee their safety nor the safety of the volunteers who would be working with them. So we don't have any programs now that require that you come into the building and sit down and participate and engage in any way. And we really went back to our primary mission of hunger relief. So if we were feeding somewhere about 15,000 people a month prior to the pandemic, we're almost back at that limit now again. But we did something a little bit different. We changed our distribution program where people actually did a drive-in. And you may have heard about this through the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, but we were actually doing it before they started to drive through is maybe a better term for it. And we started with our seniors who were high risk because they had underlying health issues. And so we started in February with drive-through for seniors. And then by August, we were doing somewhere between 700 to 750 home deliveries a month. And these were all to seniors, high risk for COVID-19, all with underlying health issues, no transportation, and were at risk by congregating with the general population. So that's how we started a whole new program that we had not done before. I think we always, as we generally do, underestimate the amount of work that goes into it because we had to have a transportation service in order to do that. We started delivering ourselves, about 2 or 3 of us, and soon found that the need was just too great to be able to do that. So we engaged a new upstart that was funded by Neighborhood Connections strictly to transport the food and deliver it to the homes. But we had to put a lot of safety precautions in place to make sure we were not bringing illness, into the homes of these seniors as well, because so many of them had not, well, practically none had been tested at that point. So that was a new service for us. And it added to the drive-throughs that we continued to do. So we've been serving somewhere between 11 and 15,000 people a month, even during the pandemic.
11 to 15,000 people a month.
A month, yes.
I just wanted to emphasize that.
Yes.
We're getting some shout outs here from some people who've actually worked with you from New Community.
New Community has been a lifesaver. I'm going to shout back out to you, my friends, because you all have been amazing for us. We are strictly a volunteer organization. Nobody gets paid at the organization, not even its director or its volunteer director, as I like to call me. We are self-funded. And we believe that in order to make a difference in the community, we needed to give back. And I think the most important aspect of our work is that it is volunteer driven and community driven. And a major percentage of the people who come in and volunteer are the people that we're distributing food to every day. And people like to believe that low-income neighborhoods, that the residents of low-income neighborhoods always have their hands out. But our neighbors have shown us that they give a hand up, that they're not just helping themselves in the process of volunteering, but they're helping other families, especially seniors and people who may be ill and not be able to do that volunteer work. But New Community has been out here on the floor. They have helped us with our volunteer appreciation, serving volunteers to say thank you. They have helped pack food, distribute food, offload food, store food. And they have just been an amazing resource for us as we have moved forward with the work at Garden Valley.
Well, a number of people, Chris and
Valerie,
Valerie.
Yes.
she worked
Yeah.
with you.
So
Yeah,
so
But you
they're
have a
excited about
couple
the
of
work that
others.
you're doing.
You have a couple of others, Neida Miller. You have a couple of others who have worked daily, almost weekly, monthly, and they pick up that phone on a regular basis or send a text, Miss Jan, what do you need? And it has made, I've had kids who gotten telephone calls where children didn't have snow boots. And some of your members have called to say, what do you need? And I got 10 pair of snow boots the next day. And that's outside of, that time period where you look at Make Cleveland Better campaign. That's just people who have just connected to us and have continued to be engaged even, on a regular day-to-day basis.
Well, we can't do this in person, but you know that our checks don't bounce.
And here it is. I called Elder Charles. I said the eagle has landed.
So,
I
so
got a direct knock on the door an hour or so ago, and I'm sitting here with 3 masks on, and he was totally masked as well, and we tried to keep about a 5-foot distance there, and he handed the check, and that was it. But yeah, this check, I didn't expect it at all. I know that so many organizations, faith-based institutions, have really been limited this year with the pandemic, and it was not something I expected. And when I got the call, I got very emotional, and people who know me know I don't get emotional very often. I just deal, but I got very emotional because we are experiencing a greater need than we've ever had before. And if you've been watching the news at all, this need for food exists way beyond Garden Valley, way beyond the city of Cleveland, way beyond the state of Ohio. And the pandemic has just made it worse. But when you think about this, when you're working in a community that it has high poverty indicators already, the only thing it does is make for higher poverty indicators, or among the highest, and so if we have existed in poverty, we are now in a deeper level of poverty. And so while we had not planned to do Toys for Tots this year, we had not planned to do a day of giving, which we have done for almost 8 years. We did. We signed up over 1,200 kids for toys, and the Marine Corps have confirmed that they're going to do it. General Motors called and said, I have coats for you. And we weren't planning to do that this year. So we know that God moves. We know that even in what we may consider the worst of times, that people come through for us. This check is a living example of that.
You're talking about the check, and I think the thing that we would like to share with those who are listening is that check is for $20,000.
Yes.
It's easy to give $1,000 here and $1,000 there. And that's helpful. $20,000 is a kind of gift that we really hope will make a significant impact in the work that you do, because the work you do is so important. And Jen, I just want to say thank you to you. Thank you to you and all the volunteers who work with you, for your residents who come in and to share their time and talent to make sure that everyone is cared for. I know how hard it is to be a nonprofit leader. And I also appreciated how you were able to really turn on a dime and put aside what you used to do to accommodate what you need to do today. And so, Jan, thank you, and send our thanks and regards to all of the volunteers. But $20,000 new community, that is something that we can be proud of.
And
New community should be exceptionally proud of what they have contributed. And I would like to say this. It extends, the work we do extends beyond Garden Valley Neighborhood House. We do not have boundaries for our service. Garden Valley is the more immediate neighborhood, but anybody who comes to our doors saying they need help, we provide that help. It makes no difference what neighborhood you live in. So we have residents who live in Cleveland Heights who come to our center for help. That we have residents from Solon who come to our center for help. We do not turn anybody away when you come. And I just want to make one more shout out that Durham Construction Trade Institute, who was one of the first to come and offer free construction training. He's put over 50 or 60 some people in the trade unions. We have a lot of independent contractors. They have been running the drive-through food pantry. They have done that exceptionally well, and have had a strong core of volunteers that have been working with them. So it has been a collective effort of a couple of different groups, especially the faith-based community with you and a couple of churches from the Presbyterian Western Reserve who have stepped up to the plate. And while this money, and it's a $20,000 check, thank you. I want to say this, that this check is so important for the work that we are doing and need to be doing. But more importantly, we need to thank you for these hands that come down and volunteer, for this heart who shows compassion for the work we do, and for the prayers and the positive energy that are being sent our way every single day. We could not do it without you. And I don't think there's anything more important than we can do for you than to send you blessings, to say that you have blessed us to be a blessing for the community, and to say that we wish each of you the healthiest and the best holiday season. Make it quiet. Don't make it big.
Yeah.
Let's prevent these super spreaders and keep all of us as safe as possible as we lead into this holiday season.
Glenville Thorne says that it was a privilege to serve last January of last year. And she says that, Jan has a beautiful heart. And I want to thank God for how he empowers people in despite challenges.
Yes.
Because
yes.
Jan has been, despite health challenges for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, I've been in a cancer journey for over 2 years and spent 3 hours this morning dealing with this. But God has been good. I'm still standing. And
Right.
as long as I stand, sometimes sitting, sometimes laying, I'm going to continue to give back. That's my mission. And that's what I've been blessed to do. And I'm grateful.
And that's what inspires so many people. And you've been standing tall, and you've been, I mean, if anyone has stood next to Jan, she is not real tall, but she stands tall.
Well, when you come out of the South and you have come from a family with strong work ethic and some of the early civil rights pioneers, we were taught that there was nothing we should not do to lift our community in some way. And this has been how I've been able to do it. And as I said, I've been blessed, and you all blessed me. I mean, you've been a major blessing. You had a lot of, I didn't say this, but a lot of new community people participated in our 12-hour readathon. We have read for 12 hours straight for a couple of years, trying to improve literacy in our community and to focus on, the importance of being able to read. And so many people from new community have sat and read and listened to other readers, and in so many areas. We have 51 programs, 51.
If somebody wanted to do some volunteer work with you, what number could they call? How do they reach you?
They can reach me at 216-618-7622. And if I don't answer right away, I will look at those red calls before the day is over, and we'll return those calls at least that day or first thing the next morning.
And that's online too. You have a website, right?
We don't have a website. That's we've moved so fast. We have not built a website. I know. It's what we need to do.
We got some people in a new community that could hook up a website. You need a website, Jan.
Well, let me tell you, Jan's hands are open.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there want to help with the website, we surely would appreciate that assistance.
So give that number again, since we're
okay. So it's 216, area code 216-618-7622. 216-618-7622.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Well,
Go on.
thank you so much, Jan, and thank you for serving the community, and thank you for allowing our members to really, get their hands in your work. And again, we just thank God for how He has brought our paths together and allowed us to serve the community and make Cleveland better. Let me just wrap up here with I'm supposed to announce that Sunday we have our NCBF online worship service, and starting on YouTube and Facebook at 9 a.m. and available online all day. So you can catch our worship service live at 9 a.m., but then it's available on YouTube all day. Let me just make sure that I thank God for this time and pray for Jan. Dear God, we're just so overjoyed how you demonstrate your goodness, your love, and your power through people. Thank you for Jan and for what she has meant to this community for so many years, and for how she serves the community around Garden Valley and just all of Cleveland. I thank you for how you have inspired her despite health challenges to be able to adjust to the enormous changes this year and still meet an enormous need out there in the community. Now, bless the money and the people who have given a new community, so that it goes forth, it does your work, nurtures people, serves people, ministers to people. And we're going to remember that it is you who causes all this to happen. And we thank you so much for it. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And
Thank
thank you, new community.
Thank you, new community. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, new community. Thank you so much. Be blessed and stay safe.
Ooh, we just had Nicole just sent me. They can learn Garden Valley and more on our web. Okay, so on our website, makeclevelandbetter.com. makeclevelandbetter.com. You can learn more about it. And that's in case you couldn't write down that number or you forget it, you'll be able to get it.
Get it on our website.
Yeah, makeclevelandbetter.com.
You all always have our back. Thank you.
All right.